Okay, it's rush hour traffic. You're on a major highway trying to get to work or trying to get home from work, more likely, and the traffic is just jam packed. And you're trying to jump around to a couple of lanes to try to save yourself a couple extra feet, but you're being bombarded with people coming into your lane or coming up on your they're tailgating you, or it's just so frustrating. And you look up and you see this tollway with no one on it, and you're thinking, what was going through their mind when they created that tollway? Why did they make it a tollway and not a highway? Is there a reason why the planners did that? Well, yeah. Okay, so several years ago, I'm traveling on North Loop 820 here in the Fort Worth area. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and a lot of traffic here. We're prone to a lot of traffic, and in fact, we don't measure our distances in actual miles here. When you talk to people, they say, "Well, how far was it to work?" We use minutes. We'll turn around and say that it was a 45-minute drive or an hour drive. We don't say it was a 30-mile drive, because 30 miles could take you 2 hours. We don't know what that is. So, but one day I was out there on Loop 820. Now, that Loop 820 on the north side was prone to heavy traffic, and it had 4 lanes of traffic at least. All of a sudden, it went down to 1 lane, and they were beginning to do road construction in the area. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to add some more capacity to the area. A couple of years later, you wake up, and they didn't add more freeway capacity. They added tollway capacity. I was so frustrated because you couldn't even, you're worse off. Now you got to pay to be able to use that tollway. And I'm wondering to myself, well, why are planners doing that? Well, that's an easy answer. Planners are charged with maximizing the usage of the available space they have within their jurisdiction. And they not only have to maximize what they're doing within their jurisdiction, but they also have to maximize or help other jurisdiction maximize what they're doing so they can join them up. So if you're traveling between two major cities like Fort Worth and Dallas, you're not going all over the place. It's a direct possible route as you can get. And of course, they have some things they have to overcome in order to do that. But what we're going to do in this video is we're going to explain the process, what goes on inside from an economics point of view. Now, the particular video that I had, I cut a section out of it from a long play video I did last year. Now, it was a rather long video, covered a lot of different subjects, but they were really good, but they were really better as a small video. I'm going to include in the description below the link to the actual long play one so that you can actually see it if you want to, and the subsequent little videos that I actually made out of it. One of the things I would like you to do is, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to see more videos of this type, just simply subscribe. We'd be honored to have you. And hit bell notifications so as new videos are coming up, you get them. All right. So anyway, so on to what I did here is I made a shorter video out of this longer video to help explain things. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that in. All right, so here is when we were talking about the freeway system. So here, this is an interesting thing. So here we are. We live in Texas. Texas has really jam-packed highways. We're not alone. A lot of major cities and a lot of major urban areas have packed highways. And if you think about how we were talking about maximizers and substitution and opportunity cost earlier, well, think about this in the way of a road. So it's high traffic time. You got a multi-lane highway. Well, what do people do? Well, they don't just stay in their one lane. They bounce around trying to find the shortest, quickest path to get them out of that sort of situation. So people will change lanes frequently. And what they're looking for is the path that gets them, they're maximizing. They're trying to get to the path that gets them where they want to go. The opportunity cost would be, hey, if I had a choice, we have a traffic jam here, I could take this particular road. It might save me some time. It may not. That's that opportunity cost. So what we're looking at here is in this graph, we'll go back over the axis again. In our vertical axis, we have our dollar sign, which is the amount of money we pay to be on that road. All right. The Q line is the quantity of the road. Now, if you notice, I got a downsloping D line. This is the demand line.
and it's downsloping because everything has a cost associated. If we take a look at the roads as they are produced, they are purely inelastic with respect to the person who's driving on the road, because they could choose whichever one they want. It's just whichever one gives them the most utility or the most consumer surplus. So we talked about that earlier, right? It's the subtraction of what they were willing to pay from what they were willing to pay, subtraction from what they actually did pay. Okay, so here we go. If we take a look at a freeway, this S freeway here, notice that line is perfectly flat because it's perfectly inelastic. Or excuse me, perfectly elastic. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Straight up and down line would be elastic or inelastic. But this is perfectly elastic with respect to the driver because they could choose any road they want to go. And the same thing for the tollway. In reality, this tollway might be a little bit more skewed up because of the nature of the cost associated with creating the highway. But in this model, we made it flat, so it's comparable. Now, as you can tell, the person that was getting on the tollway had less consumer surplus out of it. And the toll provider actually had more producer surplus. So this was good for the toll company. All right. If we go a little bit further and we were actually drop this blue line and extend it down to this freeway, you would see that the person that was driving on the freeway would get more consumer surplus out of driving on the freeway. This is the reason why people will take freeways unless they absolutely have to. And what are they doing? They're trading time for money. That's what they're doing right here. They're trading their time and frustration to get on this toll road, and it's worth something to them.
All right, so here's some of the key takeaways you should get from that video. One, as you can see, what we're really concerned is from the perspective of the driver is their surplus. And what are they really doing? They're trading their time and frustration for money. That's the tollway. So to make a better tollway, in this particular case, in the example I gave you, the tollway was rather flat. It didn't really give you a dollar amount. What you really should have is a dynamic tolling system that takes into account the amount of traffic flow on that freeway. As it begins to get backed up, then the tolls start to decline in price. And what that would do is it would encourage drivers to get off the freeway onto the tollway. If there's a major accident, of course, you can use the tollway as a thoroughfare for free, and also for emergency vehicles. That's a given. But you can adjust the tolls to help you reduce traffic flow in here. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Look in the description below for the accompanying videos that go with it. And also on the end card here, I'm going to give you 2 more videos to look at that may help you out a little bit more too.